So first I'm going to go back to the repository. So we've cloned the repository. We need to create an index.html inside the public directory, and then also a CSS directory inside the public. Once we created this folder, we will create a style CSS so that we can start adding the styling. So let me go back to my VS Code, and in the public folder, I'm going to right click and select new file, index.html. And then I have my index.html. I'm going to press the exclamation point and then tab or enter to come up with a very basic HTML5 boilerplate. I'm going to change the title to FlappyApp. And now that I have my index.html in place, I'm going to create the CSS folder. So inside the public, I'm going to select new file, and then I'm going to write the folder, so CSS and then styles CSS, and this will automatically create a folder CSS and then create a style CSS file within that folder. So just a quick shortcut to create a file and a folder at the same time. Let's go back to the repository. So let's be strict with the instructions here. So styles CSS, not style CSS. So I'm going to rename this to styles CSS. And then we have to open the PNG and then whiteboard our plan for writing an HTML document, and then continue with converting our mockup into an HTML. So that's pretty much it with this repository and the instructions. At the bottom, there's a note here on that we need to start our HTTP server inside the public folder. So this is a command, this is a tool that we can use to run a local web server, a local HTTP server, so we can serve our content. But in our case, we're going to use a VS Code extension called live server to actually serve the content. So I will go back here. I will open up the index.html, and I will also I will create a link to my styles folder. So CSS and then styles CSS, so that the CSS file is loaded. Let me just create a very simple hello world text to see whether I can actually see my content when I open this file. Now, instead of running the HTTP server command, I'm just going to right click and select open with live server. I already have, let me open up my extensions, and if I go to live server, you will see that I already have installed the live server, so I can automatically run and serve the HTML content. Let me go back to my file explorer. So right click and open with live server, or there is a go live button here at the bottom right. So let me click that. It will ask me to select which folder to actually serve, because I currently have two subfolders in my workspace. So I'm going to select the FlappyApp, and then after a few seconds, I will see the hello world in my screen. The first thing I want to do is to open up the DevTools. So I'm going to press F12 and just have this panel here where I can see the element panel and then the styles panel, so I can work my way through the styling and debug my CSS and my code. Okay, this is ready. The last check I want to do is to see whether the CSS file has been loaded. So I will go to the console. I see there's an error, a 404 error for a favicon. It's totally fine. I don't have a favicon, so I can skip this error. If I refresh, this error will go away. And I will go to my network tab to see whether my style CSS file is actually loaded. So I can see that yes, the index.html file has been loaded. The style CSS has been loaded correctly. And the last check I can do is I can add some very simple CSS style on my file to actually see that it's been applied and it's been loaded on the page. So I'm going to say body background color black, just to see how this looks. And of course I can see a black background. The text color is black. That's why I kind of lost the text, but I know that the style CSS is loaded and it's been also reloaded automatically with live server whenever I change and I save the file. So everything looks okay. Let me go here and just remove the style.